Hey everybody, happy Monday as usual. Every Monday we do this 8:15, and I think I'm no longer part of this page because I think Gemma's taking it over. She's been something else here for a while. Now that we've got a week under our belt, all I get asked about now is Gemma. Any customers coming in? How's Gemma doing? Is the puppy here? Can I meet her? We get all sorts of those questions. And hey, and it's interesting because see, it's starting right off. Hi Gemma. I don't get the hi and I get the hi Gemma. Yeah, it's all about you, sweetie. Yeah, so tonight, what a coincidence, we have many questions on misbehaving puppies. Yes, we do. Everybody wants to talk about you. They do. Everybody wants to talk about Miss Gemma. Yes, I know. I don't blame them either. I'd rather talk about you too. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes. She's a sleepy girl now, though. Full day of daycare. And if you saw the live feed, I had some, there was another puppy there with her too. So, but she's doing very, very well. We had an accident in the house today, and it was like 3 minutes after she went outside to pee. So that one kind of befuddled me a little bit, but otherwise everything has been outside. She's still sleeping at least 7.5 hours a night and doing well, socializing well. She's met a ton of people and just doing really, really well. I'm trying to introduce her to as many of our clients that come in and out as much as possible, and she's doing well with it. She really is. So this is like her little in-between time right now, because we normally, you know, put our kids to bed 7:15, 7:30, and I put her in the crate for a little while. So this is kind of her normal downtime. So I took her out to go to the bathroom before this, and then after this, take her back out to go to the bathroom again, and then back in the crate for the night. So there's not much there, sweetie. Not much there at all. So I'm going to put you down for a second. We'll bring you back at the end, maybe. Okay. Sweetie, sweetie. Yes. Frankster, I don't know if they're usually that chill. I've come across a couple that I just like the vibe of, and I don't know. They each had their little quirks, though, behavior-wise, the ones that I've had come through, but I always enjoyed their look and their demeanor, just how they held themselves, you know. Kelly, so there was 4 in her litter. There was 1 boy and 3 girls. The boy was spoken for, and one of the girls was already spoken for because they were going to probably put her into show stuff. So that left me the choice of these 2, her and her other sister. And when I saw some pictures, there was a couple pictures that were shown, and I could see a few things from that picture, and then another trainer that is much more seasoned than I am, I showed them pictures to him, and he pointed out some other things that I didn't even see or recognize, and he told me to kind of go with her. And then when we went to see her around the 7-week mark, her sister, basically my one of 2 choices, when the breeder put her down, she was much more interested in us and curious, where the other one was backing up more. And the other one's fine backing up more, but that's a dog you have to bring out of its shell a little bit. And I didn't feel like that was the right fit for me in a daycare setting with a dog. I wanted her to be curious and be able to a little bit more outgoing. So that's where that came from. You just looking to crash? Is that what you want to do? Are you just looking to crash? Do you want to sit here, or you want to... Oh, there. Now you guys all get to see my softer side. Yes, you do. My softer side of loving dogs. Yes. Yes. See? I'm not a big mean trainer at all. Yes. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, I gotta put you down, otherwise I'm not gonna get anything done at all. But maybe you can come back and make an appearance at the end. Okay? Does that work? She's trying to settle in. I probably should put her down. Okay, she'll come back. Okay. Sorry, sweetie. There. Okay, now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. So tonight, I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but a lot of the questions that I was asked were about misbehaving puppies. So it kind of sounds like it's right up my alley this week. And we've got some pretty good questions here. You know, and they're all kind of related to a certain degree. I'm going to try to get through the first 3, maybe 4 people to see that had commented, and then we can go from there. So, first one was from Chris Campbell. He's got a 3-month-old puppy named Ziva. There's also a 4-year-old dog named Max, and then there's a parent's dog who tends to get aggressive towards the puppy when the 3-month-old does all the nipping of the ears and everything. So I'm going to show you something. Sorry, you guys. So she's starting to chew on her leash. Oh, I was going to correct her, so you could see what that looked like. Nothing. She's just investigating. Oh, well. So here's the thing, you guys, when you have a 3-month-old that's really misbehaving towards an older dog, I tend to, depending on the older dog, I actually tend to let that go. But that's because I know the older dog. Like, you guys that saw the video of Shiloh correcting Gemma and how well Shiloh did with that, I think it's really important that you know the other dog too. If you know your dog's not going to do anything, then I think it's important to let it go. If you don't have a dog that knows what to do, then that's where you have to step in and get in between. At that point, it's no different if the dogs are 5 years old and 10 years old, or 3 months old and 5 years old. It's no different that way. So, I think it's important to be able to look at that and know the dogs that are involved and what their demeanor is, and how to go about it and understand it. So, Chris, to me, if you could send me a video of this, I think that would be, fantastic, because I think it's important that I can get a look at it and then be able to tell you, hey, that's a good thing or that's a bad thing, or let that go, don't let that go, all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so we're chewing on our leash again. Hey. Shh. So 2 sound corrections. Hey. Hey. We're looking for a shift in this state of mind. Shh. So she's just kind of playing coy here. That's all. Just looking for a change in the state of mind. See, she hadn't given up on it. Hey. This might be a little better. We'll see. See how she's not settled? So she's forgotten about it for a second. And then we'll see what she does getting back into it. So I'm just going to kind of ignore her here. I'm not giving her any eye contact. If she got up and moved away from it, I'd be fine. Obviously, it's going to drag her because she's tethered, or it's going to drag behind her. Hey. So she can't chew on the towel either. So that's a little redirect on her own. Hey. Now we're just sniffing. And honestly, I think she's just tired. That's all. I think she's just tired. See how she can't settle? I probably didn't give her enough downtime today. You see? This is what happens. This is what happens when dogs get overtired. They can't settle, and then they can get themselves into trouble. Chris, she has a chew toy, but right now is one of the times that I chose not to because I just want her to learn how to settle on her own. It's just like a baby with a pacifier. If they always have one, it's not going to be easy to be able to take it away when the time comes. So there are times during the day she gets it, and then there's other times that she doesn't. So we're better now. Although if you hear me randomly snapping throughout the live stream, then you'll know why. So, all a part of it, okay? So, there's a great example of just kind of the follow-through that goes through with, the follow-through that goes, oh my gosh, I can't even talk tonight. Excuse me. It's all a part of the follow-through to get that change or that shift in their state of mind. And again, I think she's just a little overtired because she's antsy. And I think that's important to recognize that in puppies. And you guys, when puppies start, doing this with other dogs and getting antsy and getting ramped up, and if part of it is because they're tired, then, I mean, that's where rest comes into play, you guys. And that's why I put that post up last week of what her schedule was like for a 24-hour period. It wasn't a typical day for me. It was kind of atypical, but those days aren't going to be the same the whole way around. And you have to adjust to whatever you have going on, with your life. And that's all there is to it. So, anyways, so Chris, that's to answer your question about the Chew Tour. Kathy, hi. Fenway went home today, you guys. All right, Andrew, I'm going to say Lamos, wants to know about how to teach a 7-month-old, recall or teaching the come command. And here it is, you guys. I know this is stuff that we've touched on before, but and we always get this question, and you'll always see, I'm not going to skip over it because everybody wants that recall command. And I think it's important for everybody to realize that a good, solid recall on a dog, if you're not going to use a remote collar, is going to take about 6 weeks to make it really, really, really reliable. And that's done with a long line to start with. You can do a short leash to a longer leash to a short leash, whatever combination that you want. But you've got to start in an area that's little to no distractions, and that's why we use our training room at work that you've seen me do some of the live streams from. So, Andrew, I may have on YouTube, I may have a video. I'll have to search to see if I've got one of the Dog Trainer Daily videos there that I can show you or put a link up to how we teach a dog recall without the remote collar. So I think that'd be important for you. And it's putting in the work, you guys. Recall, it's not like you're teaching your dog sit, okay? It's not like you're teaching them down. This is recall with a lot of distractions going on, and it's coming back to you. These other commands that you're teaching, the dog is already near you. And that's why this is so important, is that you're teaching your dog to come to you when you are, 10, 15, 30, 50 feet, 100 feet away. And that's where that practice comes into play, and that's where the repetition of almost every day. I always joke around, here's how you do the recall command. Just do it 4 times a day for the next 4 months, you'll be fine. Just because it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it is to let you know, too, that it is a lot of work to do that kind of thing. And I think that's important to know. So, Andrew, it's going to take some work. I would definitely use some food and a good recall. And like I said, I will try to find a video for you to go by. If I can't find one, maybe I'll put one together for you guys this week and go from there. So, yeah, she's kind of antsy. So that's my fault. Antsy puppy. Don't want antsy puppies. They get themselves into trouble. She's just moving around a lot. Excuse me. Sorry, that was right into the mic. Shania Campbell So I think her problem was that she's got a 6-month-old that's jumping all over everybody and jumping on people during hikes. And so here's the thing, you guys. The jump, I've honestly been experimenting with this for, it'll probably be a year in October. So I guess what, 9-10 months, something like that, 9 months. As long as it's not hurting you when the dog jumps, this is what I want you to do. Nothing. Just stand there. Don't give them any attention. Don't turn away. Don't walk into them. Nothing. Because, and I got this is not my phrase. This is from George Cockrell, which is one of the trainers that I've learned a lot from. He's been doing this for about 40 plus years. And I also interviewed him on my podcast. He said this one time, and it made so much sense. Dogs don't burn fuel on something that doesn't bear fruit. If you really think about that, you know, them jumping on somebody, let's call that burning fuel. If they're not getting anything out of it, then why would they keep doing it? If you it's the same thing as if you have a dog that's a counter surfer. If there is no food left up on that counter for a given amount of time, that dog will no longer search for it. That's all there is to it. Hey. See, she's antsy. She's whining a little bit. So the same thing can be said about jumping. If you don't do anything, if you stand there like a statue, you don't put anything into it, why would the dog continue to jump on you? So that would be my, I guess, question back to you, is can you experiment with that? Can you experiment with it as much as possible and see if you can get anywhere with it? I've suggested this to a ton of people, and I haven't gotten any negative responses yet. So I'm still kind of waiting it, and I've been suggesting this probably since October, which is when I heard George say this in this context. And I think it's pretty interesting. So don't do anything. As long as it's not hurting you, meaning paws, you know, and their nails and stuff. If it's hurting you, then you have to do something. My preference is to take a big step into them. Get them off of you. That's all there is to it. Can you guys still hear me? Frankster said that you lost me. Can somebody send a heart across or let me know if you heard me? Hopefully I'm not just babbling on without you guys being able to hear me at all. That'd be a bummer. Good, Shania. So you can hear me. Good. You guys can hear me. All right. Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, Linda and Jenna. I appreciate that. Good. Okay. Shania, the other thing too is if your dog is jumping on people on hikes, you should have that dog on leash. And if the dog is jumping on people on leash, then you need to create more space between the dog and the people. And your dog may not be ready to meet people on a hike. And I wouldn't let your dog meet people on a hike if it was that excited either. Because then it becomes autopilot, right? Your dog's going to think, oh, there's somebody, I go and jump on him. Next person comes along. Oh, there's somebody, I usually jump on them. They go along. And then it just, you know, the term history repeats itself. It's the same concept. Same concept. Let's see. And then he's always on leash. He's too curious outside to be off leash. Okay, good. Good. So, and then Don Long wrote how to desensitize a dog to a doorbell. You know, I would probably pick a time, Don, where there's nobody home but probably you and your dog. And I would put your dog on leash, and I would go over, and I would probably open up your front door and just hit the doorbell and let your dog go through whatever it's got to go through. Craziness, excitement, whatever. But do it when there's nobody else at the door, nobody else home, nobody in the driveway, nothing. And then hit it again. And then hit it again. But each time you hit it, I want that dog, you got to wait till that dog gets back into that relaxed phase before you start up again with a doorbell. I mean, if you want to, you can also create that the doorbell means food, but you have to be super duper duper careful about your timing, because if you hit the doorbell and your dog barks and then you give your dog some food, you're rewarding that state of mind, and we can't do that at all. So what I would say, I think I would lean more towards the when nobody's home thing. I think that would be easier. I think that would be easier on everybody. because you're not dealing with, again, the timing of when to treat that and everything. I think that would be tough. So I would just put your dog on leash and go through the whole, repetitiveness of it, and then be able to go from there. I think that's more important to do, just so that your dog doesn't get to experience that thing over and over and over again. So, and then Melanie. So I think you're on here, Melanie, and I'm hoping that maybe you caught me correcting my puppy here through biting on the leash and everything. So now, you guys, there we go. Except I had to say something. But I have been saying something. So, Chris asked why not give her a chew toy. Guess what? I gave her a chew toy. She's still up. She didn't find that ability to rest on her own and be able to kind of problem solve on her own, that this was her spot to be in for right now. And then it's not, that I don't give her that pacifier to just pacify her, basically. In the morning I do. In the morning I give her a bully stick and let her go about her business, or a Kong, something along those lines, to really let her chew and get that out of her that puppies like to do. So again, this is end of the day. It's much easier for me to calm her down than obviously morning time when they're full of it more. So it makes more sense now to have her go through this and learn how to self-regulate herself than anything else. Like, she will fall asleep in the middle of the daycare room when there's all these other dogs moving around. That really impresses me, because a lot of puppies don't have that ability to do that. That's not something that I taught her at all. That's something that she did on her own, and dogs do that on their own. We can't make a dog go to sleep at work. If they go off into the corner and they lie down and then they fall asleep, great. And we have some dogs that come to daycare that don't have that ability. And that's okay, because we can manage that. We can put them into a kennel, restrict their space, and then they slowly start to come down out of it. Or some dogs, when we go outside, they'll fall asleep outside and go get in the shade where it's nice and cushy and it's cool, and then they can crash from there. But this is not taught by me. I wish I could take credit for it, but I certainly can't. This is all 100% her, and it's pretty cool when it comes down to it. That's for sure. Definitely. Okay, I'm going to scroll back through these comments here, because I think there were some questions or statements that I had missed. Let's see. Era. So, this is our Texas friend. Took my dog to the island today in Texas and did so well. Sometimes we have to remember they are dogs and treat them that way. I was super caught up in his feelings and wants. Interesting. Good, Era. That's good. I'm glad you're learning a lot. I feel like. Let's see. Yes, the more chilled a pup, the better. Amen to that. Let's see. Joel. Hey, Joel. Here from California. Hunter and Harry started chewing the baseboard all of a sudden, which is new to us. Yikes. These are some Vermont clients of mine, you guys, that were around for a while, and then they moved out west. I'm kind of interested in the chewing of the baseboard. I guess, Joel, if you're still on, I would certainly want to find out if anything has changed in your schedule. And sometimes dogs hear things in the walls too. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I would certainly, if there's mice in the walls or something like that, they're certainly going to scratch if there's a scent to it. So I think that's important to find out that there too. So, all right, Chris, I answered the chew toy. Scrolling up here, I have the hardest time with the command down. Toast doesn't get it. You don't need, well, I'm not teaching her. You guys, the only thing I'm going to teach her is probably come or a recall. And I can't tell you already, and again, I'm going to give credit to George Cockrell on this. He taught me a technique to do with her as soon as I got her. Like the very first thing, nothing else. Take her out in the middle of a field, literally carry her out into the middle of a field, put her down, and walk away. Just me and her. And I did that in our yard. There should be a dog trainer daily on it, probably in the 90s somewhere. Dog trainer daily somewhere between 90 and probably 98. And this girl follows me outside. It's pretty amazing. I did that a few times, that technique a few times in about a 10-minute session, and I rewarded her every time with some affection and saying her name, which she had no idea what her name was at that point. But it's made a huge I can't even say a huge difference because we didn't know any other way. But I'm kind of shocked at how much she follows me. That's for sure. So, but Melanie, I'm not going to teach her down. I'm not. I'm not going to teach her down. I'm not going to teach her to sit. She doesn't even know what the word sit means. Like, she's never heard it. Other than what I just said. So there's no meaning to it, and she's sleeping anyways. Because I'm more interested as a trainer, this is where the trainer in me comes out. I'm more interested in when she does sit, that it's not a default, and it's not something that's already programmed in her brain. So now I know she's doing it more naturally. And first thing is she doesn't sit that often at all. Which could be very well due to her age. And then the second part is when she does sit, to me, she's in observation mode. She's just checking everything out and watching from a distance. I mean, that distance could be 5 feet, 10 feet, or 50 feet out in the yard. But I'm not teaching her any of that stuff. I'm going very, I don't even know if you can call it instinctual, just very different. That's all, just very different. Okay, let's scroll back up through here. He's always on leash. Rhonda, what do you do for puppy biting? I do the same correction sound as if you saw before with her chewing on the leash. It's the same thing. That tends to take a little bit more because, like, her chewing on the leash isn't as intense as, any puppy biting. But her puppy biting isn't hard either. I know some dogs can get, really, really, really mouthy. So we're going to do a correction sound, and if that doesn't work, then she's going to get kind of a poke in the side because something has to snap her out of it because it's just too much, And the other thing I have to look at too is making sure she's getting enough rest that day too. So it kind of goes hand in hand for each other at that time. Let's see. How do you teach a pup their boundaries in a work environment, more office setting? Tethering. You're seeing it happen right now. And look, the only time she's been off leash in the house is we're either going outside or we're coming inside. That's it. So this is what can be created when they're excuse me. When they're tethered, you're restricting space. There. You're restricting space, and when you restrict space, they can't move around as much. And when they can't move around as much, now you're getting a different reaction. So again, instead of that chew toy being that pacifier, you have some problem solving going on. And I think that's super duper important when it comes down to, a puppy maturing both mentally and physically. I think that problem solving is super important because when she's out in the yard, and I may be out there too, but I can't be on her 24/7. And I think that's where that problem solving comes into effect too. I think it's really, really important. So to me, if I can start to teach her problem solving at, 9 weeks, she'll be 10 weeks on Wednesday, then I think that's really important. That she learns and has that ability to get through those tougher times on her own. So, all right. So Megan, this will be my last question of the night, you guys. I have a 9-month-old puppy who loves our 9-year-old dog, but the older dog, Gunny, doesn't love Walter, the puppy. Walter loves to push Gunny's buttons and doesn't seem to take the hint that Gunny is done with him. I know they should work it out themselves, but at what point do I intervene? Megan, I think it's up to you to figure out if Walter has or if Gunny has the ability to correct without causing any pain to your puppy. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Again, if watching that video of Shiloh correcting Gemma on Facebook, I put it up this weekend, I think. It'll say pop quiz, is this a good correction, yes or no? That's what it comes down to. If you have an older dog that can correct a younger dog without causing any harm, then I think you have to let them do it to a degree. Now, if it's causing harm, then you obviously have to step in. And then that's where I would go along with, maybe making sure that they do more calming activities together. So they do a place command together. They go for a walk together, feeding times together, but it's at a calmer setting. I'm still working on her eating fast. This girl, she lights it up when it's feeding time. And I've tried many different techniques in my book so far, and now I'm just trying to create some consistency. So I think with her, it's going to take some time. As you know me, it's always state of mind, and that's really what it comes down to with her. That's for sure. So let's see. Okay, last one, Trish. We have an 11-month-old pup that wants to attack or attach the other. I'm assuming attack the other dogs in the house. What would you suggest? Professional help? I can't. Unfortunately, I can't give you the advice to, like, when you have dogs fighting at home. I can't. There's nothing I can give you that's going to be the magic pill that's going to be like, hey, this is all you need. So I would reach out to somebody. If you want to message me and tell me what area you're in, then I can certainly help you out. But I can't give you something to do to change that. Should I get her to calmly eat? Let us know. Yeah, trust me, I'm working on it. I took a video of one of the very first meals that I fed her, as something to be able to use as a barometer later on for when she eats. So we'll see kind of what happens from there. But okay, I think we're gonna call it a night. Gemma, you ready to go to bed? Not even moving. Nothing. Like she's out. I may have to carry her upstairs. You ready to go to bed? See, she's all curled up. Anytime, Chris. I'm always more than happy to help. Shoot me a message too, Chris, okay? So shoot me a video of what's happening with your 3. Doesn't her paw look broken? It looks like I'm upside down. See? It is night time. And this, you guys, this is a really good time to share affection too. Very calm state of mind, chilled out, no worries here. Fuzz. Oh, she even hit her head under her paw. She's like, Daddy, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's see. What can I touch on real quick? I am working on, you guys, there's a free app that you can get called Anchor, as in like Anchors Away. And I'm working on that being the new place for my podcast. It'll still be iTunes, Spotify, everywhere else. But this looks like a pretty cool place to kind of have my podcast being hosted by. So if you get a second, this is what's really cool about Anchor, you guys. If you get a second, you can go on to Anchor, find my podcast, and then if you have a question, you can actually voice in a question. So it could be, hey, Ian, how can I get my dog to eat slower? And then what I can do is I can take that message and put it on my podcast, have your message play, and then I can answer it. So it's would all be like one episode. So you guys can send in all sorts of questions, and I would be more than happy to answer those as kind of a 2, 3, 4 minute blurb of a podcast. So I think that's pretty cool the way that works. So if you guys are interested, just download the Anchor app. It is 100% free. I've been messing around with it and searching for and studying it all weekend, so it's been kind of cool. Not 100% there with what I want to do with it, but I'm learning as I go. So you can do that. And let's see what else I have going on. I just forgot. So I've got I'm super excited. The end of June, I'm actually interviewing Ken Licklider, who he is a trainer from Indiana. He owns Von Lick Kennels. It's VONLICHE Kennels. And he had a show on the Discovery Channel probably in 2009, 10, 11, 12-ish, somewhere in there, called Alpha Dogs. Very cool show on protection training, drug sniffing, bomb sniffing, all that kind of stuff. Very cool show. So he's going to be my state of Indiana when I interview him. So I am super excited to actually have somebody that was on TV to interview, so that should be the end of the month. But I've got a few states coming up as well. But anyways, you guys, that'll be it for tonight. Just keep your notifications turned on, you guys. We do a lot of live feeds during the week, and I always love the participation from everybody. So I've got a good one lined up for this week. I just haven't figured out how to type it all in and get the reaction I want. Maybe I'll just video it. That'd probably be easier. So Joan, Gemma is a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog. So you guys, it's as always, it's been fun. Great questions as always, and we'll do it again next week, 8:15 on Monday nights. Have a good night, you guys. See ya.